Well, hello there again, kids, friends, and family. We're currently in the kitchen here in the little old white house under the oaks. It's rather hot outside right now. It's mid-afternoon, and I wanted to take the time to show you something they might not think about, might not know, and that's how to beat beef prices. All you have to do is be in the right place at the right time. And let me show you what we picked up today. So we went ahead, since it's so darn hot during the middle of the day, and went and did us a little bit of shopping. Something we needed to do. And while we were in the meat department at one of our local food stores, it's actually Superfoods, located on this side of the river, the only grocery store we have on this side of the river and here in our small town. And it's one of these cost plus 10%. And they had a big old tray of beef out, and it had all been reduced. I want to show you what we got here. We got some Blackwell Angus, and this is your beef chuck tender steaks, $2.09. Now indeed, it's only 3/4 of a pound. Then we picked up some this is actually got to remove the little sticker here, sirloin tip beef, and it's a 0.81 of a pound for $2.23, $2.75 a pound, just like the chuck tender steak was. And here again we got another one of those, and that's a sirloin tip steak, 0.93 of a pound, $2.75 a pound for $2.56. And last but not least, we picked up a third of that beef sirloin tip steak. Here again, this one's at 0.8 of a pound. Here again at $2.75, only $2.20. Now, you might not know, and you might not be keeping up with the news, beef prices are already expensive. We all know that. But here again, because of the floods in the Midwest, late spring, here again, late spring in the southwest, flooding in the southwest. We've had a wet spring here in the southeast. Basically, farming has took a hell of a beating this year. Spring planting's been delayed in almost all parts of the country, including California. Corn, soybeans, and other grains in the Midwest, they've had to delay planting, and at the last time I looked, only about 35% of the corn had been put in. Now what's this mean to meat prices? This doesn't only impact beef prices, all meat. Without the corn, wheat, and soybeans, feed prices for livestock will skyrocket. And that will start happening here this fall, in the winter, and especially so next spring and summer, because our grain reserves will be depleted. So if you can find beef or chicken or pork at reduced prices, I definitely recommend you pick them up now. Go ahead and portion them up, prep them, and get them in the freezer. Now, one thing that I use to get these type of prices is I shop at certain times of the week, which is more convenient now since I'm retired, when I know that the groceries are on sale. And that's predominantly on Mondays, then on Wednesdays, and even on Fridays sometimes. You can hit the stores around 10, let them get opened, and then they'll discount things that aren't going to make it for the next day or two. And all of this, should you go ahead and buy it, needs to either be cooked that day or processed and frozen that day. I mean, it's perfectly good meat. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And we're going to take you through the steps we use to portion this up and get it ready for the freezer. And the reason I want to show you this is because the way I do it has always prevented freezer burn and allowed me to somehow lose and forget beef, chicken, whatever in the freezer. And I'll find it a year or 2 or 3 later, open it up, defrost it, still good. No freeze burn. And I don't have a vacuum sealer anymore. So let me put the camera down and I'll show you just what we're doing. Now you're going to need a few things to process your meat properly for the freezer. Of course, you're going to need the meat, cutting board. Got this little small one I use. Plate. I'll show you why. You're going to need some plastic wrap. Now this happens to be seal wrap, professional grade plastic wrap. I love this stuff. Wish I'd known about it all my life. But it's got this blade cutter right here, and I've always struggled with cutting plastic wrap. It's a little bit thicker plastic wrap too than saran wrap and others that you'll find. And it costs $1 or so more. But, oh, I love it since I found it. You're going to need a good sharp knife. Because even though most Americans could eat that whole sirloin tip steak, that's not necessary. One of the problems in America, we tend to overindulge too many times. So we're going to portion it up. So we're just going to take the knife, slice the plastic open, and we're going to raise that nice sirloin tip steak up. Look at that thing. Ooh boy, that's going to cook up fine. Now, it's only about 3/8 or more thick. Now, like I said, we could eat the whole thing, or we could just cut it in half. That'd basically be right at about 7 ounces per serving. Maybe a little bit over. But if you look into things, what I've always seen, been told, the proper portion of meat per meal should be 4 ounces, or the size of the palm of your hand. Now, I'm doing some recent research. Seen there are some out there that say 6 ounces. So I could cut it in half. It'd be a little bit more. But what I'm going to do is portion this. Just one person. I'm going to portion it for me. And I'm going to make 3 servings out of this sirloin tip steak. Place it over on this plate. So what I'm going to try to do is just portion it hand size, which I just did. We'll slice through that meat. There you go. Place it over there on the plate. I'll lay my hand down again. Drop that knife right beside it. Cut it back off. There we go. That's another one right there. And then we got the third piece. Now we got 3 pieces, 3 servings for me. And I paid $3.06, or no, reduced I paid $2.23. For that, piece of meat right there, which gave me 3 servings. So do the math. Okay? So that right there, for me, 3 servings for $2.23. I'll let you do the math because a little bit nasty right in the moment. Take the tray, throw it away. Now we got to wash up our hands a little bit. So bear with me. So we got our hands all washed up. We're just going to place our knife and cutting tray over the side. We've got more meat to process after we show you what we're going to do with this one. Now, like I said, I want to show you how to prevent freezer burn. Now, my mom and daddy showed me this. We'll stretch us out some plastic wrap here, right there. We're going to take that nice fine cutter, slide across there, and there we go. That's a nice flat piece of plastic wrap that we're not having to sit here and spend forever straightening that out. What we're going to do is take a piece of that sirloin tip, place it down on the saran wrap, and we're going to take this plastic wrap and we're going to fold it over meticulously here on the edges. Reason for that, we don't want any air, and I don't know if you can see it, but we brought that plastic wrap all the way around the edges tight. And then we're going to take it, flip it over, wrap it up, and there we have it. Nice, tight, plastic wrap sirloin tip steak. We don't have any place where air can accumulate, touch the meat, and cause freezer burn long term. So we got that one over there. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Go. Put in another piece. Here again, following those edges, patting her down. We're going to make sure we don't have any air in that package. Here again, we got it. And there we are. That second one. Messed up a little bit on this one. It happens. One thing I like about this plastic wrap being a little bit thicker, it takes nothing to get this back straightened out where it looks all nice, flat. Take our third piece, put it on. You can see the contour here. So we're going to work that plastic wrap around there, pushing out that air. All the way around that steak. See? no air. Take it right here and give it a good push, and there we go too. Got the third one done. Now for the next step. Need to wash up again. Okay, for this we're done with the plastic wrap. Now on to the foil. And I use heavy duty Reynolds wrap. You can use whatever you want, but I would suggest heavy duty wrap. Oops. You can use whatever brand you want. This is what I use. Whatever you do, use the heavy duty. We're just gonna pull us off 3 sheets there real quick. Get that. We're going to take the plastic wrap meat, place in there, kids. Here again, we're going to tightly package it up best we can. And there we go. There's a serving just for this little old man. Now you're going to say, well, what if somebody comes over? We can take out more than one package. And I'm not real accurate on how I do the foil. It's not important now since we've got all the air out with the heavier plastic wrap to worry about the foil getting all the air out of that. There's the third piece. We got it all nicely wrapped. The last step is you want to mark the date and time on these. Not so much the time, but the date and what's in them. So I'm just going to take my little Sharpie here. I'm going to just put sirloin tip. And this is 6/29/19. And I'm going to do that on all of them. That way when I find them in the freezer, I'll know what's in them and how old they are. Because like I say, sometimes I lose them. But I am going to say this about this method. It's simple. And I've taken steaks that I found in my huge 35 cubic foot upright freezer out to cook. Looked on the foil and seen they were from 2007. Went ahead and defrosted them. They look fine, no freezer burn. Went ahead and cooked them up on the grill. Actually, my son did. Never said a word about it. After we ate, I asked him, how were those steaks? Oh man, Daddy, those steaks were fantastic. So do you want to know how old they were? Sure. And when I told him, he couldn't believe it. Of course, I really couldn't believe it either, because I think losing a steak for 11, 12 years is probably the longest I've ever done. But this is why I use this method. My daddy showed me when we used to process our own beef, pork, chicken, and what have you. This is how we did it. Had big chest freezers. They're hard to manage. You lose stuff. It gets old. And we never had a problem. And I wanted to share this with you today. So, if you see a bargain on beef, chicken, whatever, you'll know just how you can put it up, how you should size it. And I mean, if you're extra hungry one day, you can always take out 2 packs. So there you have it. I've got a lot more in the refrigerator I need to get done. So, with that said, we'll see you on the next video. Until then, y'all take care, stay safe, God bless, goodbye for now.